Hello everybody, welcome back to the MediaMix podcast, where we talk about your favorite movies, TV shows, and video games, maybe sometime in the future. Today, we are joined by, as per usual, Mason.
I need to do my nails.
No you don't, they look beautiful. Xavier.
Hello.
Vicky, who can't handle her tacos from Taco Bell.
Sorry, my mouth is on fire. Thank you.
Jack.
I need to do my nails.
And our special guest of the week, the Big Kahuna, Zach Attack 42201. Say hi, Zach.
Hola.
Hey, the gang is all here, and we're talking about this week, nobody. So, who wants to start us off with the synopsis of the whole movie? Mason.
I can't. You do it.
Me?
Yeah.
You're supposed to do it. You have it fresh in your mind. You saw you saw it today, didn't you?
Okay, so basically, it's a reverse John Wick.
Reverse John Wick.
That's what I would call it. Well, not a reverse John Wick, but basically this guy, gets trained by, as he would put it, all the three-letter agencies, FBI, CIA, all that happy shit. Mm-hmm. And he cuts... So sorry. He cuts loose ends. But, yeah, and he kind of got out of that life, but he got back in for reasons.
The
Kinda
kitty
like John
cat
Wick.
watch.
Yeah,
The
kitty cat
bracelet.
Bracelet.
Sir.
Bracelet.
So we'll get back
I'm
into that.
tripping.
So the movie kind of starts out, and we see Hutch. That's his name, right? Hutch?
Yeah.
Yep.
We see him, kind of like a little musicless montage of his normal life, of him always missing Garbage Monday and
Tuesday. Garbage
I
was
thought
on
it was
Tuesday.
Thursday.
That was Monday.
Nope, garbage was on Tuesday.
That's weird. For me, it's Monday. Anyways, it's just a boring little montage of what his normal life is like, going to work, coming home to his family and whatnot. Basic stuff, basically. And then, these two people break into his house and basically rob him for pocket change, and he has a jump on one of them towards the end of the altercation, and he chooses not to swing.
Well, what happened is his son jumped down the stairs and tackled one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and the other person was pointing the gun at his son, telling him to get off, and he could have, fully taken the baseball club that he had and
Golf club.
Yeah, the golf club. Wait, yeah, it was a golf
It was a
club.
golf club. Baseball.
The
club.
I watched it this morning. It's still pretty fresh in
Yeah,
my
he
memory.
could have taken the golf club and freaking whacked the girl over the head and then ended it right then and there. But he chose not to at the last second. Robbers got away, and his kid was like, "What the heck, Dad? Why didn't you? You had every chance to hit that girl and end this all. Why didn't you?" And we kind of find out why as the movie progresses.
So yeah, then we have a little couple scenes of just everybody kind of just trashing on the dad for not being a Chad and taking a swing at the robbers. Man, if that was my family, I would have done something.
By the way, real quick, that was said by a cop.
I was said by a cop.
Yeah, what kind of someone
Fucking
breaks
dickhead.
Yeah, someone breaks into your house and robs you, and then tells you if that happened to me, I would have killed them. That's
That gives a topic that we're not going to get into.
I understand that.
No,
but
no,
I'm just
I'm
referring to
with you.
even
with
in
that.
general.
Yeah, that's a
That's just something you
dickhead
don't
move.
say.
So
Yeah.
so
You know?
basically, all these people are saying all these
I agree.
negative things about him. You're like, you did the best you could, man. There's not a lot you could do, really, given it's you.
They
Yeah, they were trashing
Yeah.
on him because he was basically some less than average Joe, and they're
Yeah.
just
A
like,
nobody.
That's
we
what-
understand that you didn't do anything because we know you can't.
And to be
Basically
fair,
saying that.
that's what he's going for, so it's
Yeah.
working. But all this stuff doesn't really bother him until he comes home to his daughter being like, I can't find my kitty cat bracelet. Did you think they stole that too? And then that just kind of makes him go off the rails, basically.
Well, it's this guy who, if there's some context, I guess, this guy who was in the FBI, who was this, what do they call it?
The auditor.
Auditor.
Yeah.
So
the
they
auditor.
explained that he's the last person that you want to see at your door, right?
Mhm.
And then he kind of got out of this life, and so now he's just average Joe. And so we see that this guy has a lot of pent up rage inside of him, and I feel like obviously this, with his little daughter, I feel like that kind of becomes the last straw for him. You know, it's like
the straw that broke the camel's back.
yeah, you can have like a whole like horrible day, but then you know you get home and you drop your keys right before
And you
you're
just
like,
flip
Oh,
your
yeah.
fucking
yeah,
shit.
yeah. And so I feel like this is what it would set it off. You know, this is what was
Yeah.
I guess the catalyst I guess of the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes off to like try to find these people because the way that he stopped and like looked at a tattoo on one of the robbers' like wrists, and so he went around trying to find like those people using, because his dad had an FBI, like an old FBI badge, and he went around using that to try to find the tattoo. But he was doing it very poorly, and like I would say that he like it looked like he did not know what he was doing.
But see, that's the whole point of the movie that I really wanted to get into.
He seems so awkward though.
But
Yeah.
that's the point. He's been out of this life for so many years. Like, you know, this movie was made by the same people that made John Wick, so obviously there's going to have a lot of comparisons and similarities. But John Wick was only out for, like, what, a couple years?
A
You're saying
handful.
has
Yeah.
been?
Huh?
You're saying
Since,
it
like,
has been only
like
out for a couple
2016?
Yeah,
years?
for John
was it?
Wick. No,
Well, John
no.
Wick within the
John Wick
movie.
was out of the life for a couple of years.
Yeah,
Oh,
At
right,
best,
right, yeah.
at best. This guy, you know, you look at his son's like almost our age and shit. Like, he's been out of the life for a long time, and he's
Like-
been able to maintain it.
Could say like 2 decades almost.
Well, you
Yeah.
see that even in the montage, you know, he's at the bus stop doing pull-ups and stuff, so he's still maintaining like a somewhat.
Obviously, he's maintaining his physique, but like
what's
as
it
far as
called?
his skills go,
Yeah.
a routine? Is that what you're thinking?
No.
Well, he's still
He's trying to
fit.
stay fit, yeah.
Yeah.
He retains like a tiniest sliver of it, but that's the whole point of this movie. This guy really got out of that life, and he was able to maintain that. And that's also what they show at the next part, where the Russian mobsters get on the bus, and he goes to start fighting them.
Oh, he
You-
was getting his ass beat.
I think we're getting
Because
a
he
little
was
ahead of
out
us.
of the life.
yeah. I
He
think
had
if
been-
we compare him to John Wick, who has only been out for like a couple years, he was still pretty like graceful in his like in the work he's always done. You know, killing people effectively. Like if John Wick was a movie about like focus, this movie was more about like ungraceful ferocity.
And that's another thing I wanted to get into. From anywhere from the sudden music cuts, from the score suddenly cutting out in certain places. The way, like, if you go and watch a scene from John Wick, his hands are steady. And I mentioned that in the first podcast. Always steady. He knows what he's doing. He's a man of focus. But this guy, he's been out of it for so long. His hands are shaky when he holds a gun. You know, he's lost his touch.
He's getting his. He's getting.
But
his
you can
butt
also see him like going back into that mindset, into that life, even in the camera work and how they, because you know they'll do the choppy cuts, which they didn't do in John Wick. They did one long, like, I think, what was the longest action take
I think when he was
in John
running
Wick?
through
Wasn't
the
it like
club.
8 minutes in John Wick 2? It was something like,
But that was within the house, though. The house scene,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
yeah, it was like an 8-minute, no-cut, fluid take. But then you look at this movie, it's choppy. It, you know, you even get down to the cinematography of it. It's a very well put together, and it shows. But there was one part on the bus where the camera just switched, and it was like you were watching John Wick. It was fluid, and that was when he, you know, got the girl off the bus and he fucking
Yeah.
killed him.
And
He offed them.
I like to think as far as the cinematography, right? It's clearly done on purpose. And there's movies, superhero movies or whatever, that are done, or there's fight scenes within the dark, or it's chopped, and you're like, what am I watching right now? Who's fighting who?
Yeah.
Where I feel like obviously this one's done on purpose, and even when it is choppy, you can still understand what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
No, yeah, I like that about it, and like you said, it helps play into, it's kind of like context, unexplained context
yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
something you got to really like look into and pick up on.
Yeah. So that's
Oh,
who
yeah.
our main character is. He's kind of just this very rusty government killer.
But well, he's
No, not
also-
really. Sorry that I cut you off, but he wasn't really part of the government per se. The government hired him to
Yeah.
be like do their
So he
dirty
was, like,
work.
kind of like a
So like it
freelance-
was like the government, and then he was like over here, like kind of associated, but like not really, because they don't want to be like they don't want to be like, oh yeah, we told this guy to kill people. Like no, he like yeah. So he was just like
It's kind of like a mercenary.
yeah, basically. So he was just like an association. Like he is like protected under them, I guess, but they won't say that he's a part of it.
So that's who Hutch is. So just going back to, because we left off at the tattoo scene, he walks in. The people are like, "Oh yeah, that badge is fake, bro. What are you doing here?" They're not having any of his like shit, And he's basically they figure out who he actually is.
Well,
because the veteran guy, you remember the veteran guy, sees Hutch's tattoo on his wrist, and it's like 2 playing cards. Like,
Yeah.
like a Jack and a Joker or some shit.
7 and a 2.
Yeah,
7 and a
it's 7
2.
and 2.
And the guy immediately knows what's up. He's like, "Oh, thank you for your service."
Yeah,
And
how does he know? Is that like
leaves
an-
the room?
Yeah, what was the
walks-
meaning of that, anyways?
Probably means
It's
like
a-
he knows what that means.
Yeah.
he's
Like,
like
probably that's the sign of an auditor.
Yeah, for us, they would probably just be like random
Well-
tattoos that somebody has, but for someone who's been in the service, he probably knows that that's the marking of like a secret agent or something.
I love that scene because it nailed it once again, just like John Wick nails the show don't tell.
Yeah.
But
They
also,
don't, because we don't know what that means, but we have to figure out like we have to like decipher what that means based off that guy's reaction to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's a whole world out
Walks
there that
out
we
of
don't
the
know
room.
of.
This
Yeah.
dude is scared for his life. Walks out of the room.
He locked all
locks all
the
20
locks.
locks on the door, and that immediately translates to the other 2 people in the room. Oh yeah, we don't fuck with this guy.
Yo.
but that scene also
What
like
can we
made
do
me
for you,
think
sir?
about the house scene where the guy's son was like, "Hey dad, I have this project about ex-veterans," and he was like, "I was thinking about interviewing you or like asking you questions," but he was like not having it. The son, he was like, "You like let those robbers go," so he was like kind of had like anger towards his dad. And his dad was like, "Oh, well, I didn't really do anything in the,
Obviously, 'cause
Army
he doesn't
or
want
something.
He doesn't
Can't
want
really-
yeah,
Yeah.
so you can't really tell, but like, and then he was like, I'll just ask my uncle then instead, because he's cooler. And like, I would literally was like, oh God, that must have hurt hearing your son say that. Oh my God.
But he kept calm the whole time. You
Yeah,
know?
he was
He's
like,
"Yeah, okay, go for it."
oh, okay, sure.
Probably dead inside as you see him like throw away those eggs after that. After his whole family leaves, he's like, damn, like tosses the eggs in the trash can.
Dang it.
I
So
love
the
how
next
he just
scene,
was always like, shit.
The next scene, he goes to the people's house that robbed his place, right? They took his watch and some other shit. He probably didn't get the money back, but he went to their house, got his watch back, and then he was like, "Where's the kitty cat bracelet?"
Well, he also realized that
like-
these people like stole like petty theft.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and
but
so
they had
it
reasons
shows-
to do that.
Yeah, but it shows like he has like a moral compass, right? Like they're like, all right, they're stealing because they probably like eating like ramen. They
Well,
have
also,
like
the
They also
baby
had a
who's on, like,
child.
the-
yeah.
He was on the drip thing. I don't know
And
what that's called. Like,
he-
Oxygen?
No,
It's on oxygen.
yeah,
He was
it's
on
like,
oxygen.
thing. I don't know.
He also
we saw it yesterday. I don't
noticed
remember
that the
completely.
gun wasn't loaded
Right.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they were robbing him.
That's
Learn
So that's why he
after the
really
fact.
didn't care.
that's why
That's why
he
he
didn't
didn't
swing at and
It wasn't
take her
because
out
he was
right
like
there.
he was reluctant to do it. It was because he knew if I
There was no
attack,
threat.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
And he knew they were desperate. So again, it shows the difference between like John Wick and this guy, where like clearly has like defined morals, right? Where like
John Wick
is-
would have just
yeah.
blasted him. So anyways, I started blasting. Just take him out.
So they killed my dog. So
It killed my dog, so I took
yeah,
down a whole
Which is
syndicate.
also, again, not to compare obviously the two movies, but they're made by the same directors, and so like obviously they're different, like again catalysts, I guess, right? The one killed it like a dog, which set him into motion to going on this life again. Where this is just kind of like this guy who almost has pent up anger, right?
Well, it's
Pretty
because
much.
they
Not-
messed with his family.
But-
Like
well,
that
like-
one scene where it was the garage and there was a pizza box like underneath it. He was like staring at it when like the police came to like help him, or like the police came. He was staring at that pizza box in the opening for the garage.
I didn't
You're
get
like,
that. What did
bruh.
they do with
And
the? What did they do with the
one of
pizza
them
box?
lifted
Well, I
up the
don't know, yeah.
garage, and the other one stuck the pizza box under it so
Yeah.
it didn't fall, so
Well, I
they could
think-
get under it.
And
No, no, no,
he
I
But
was.
a
think it was
pizza
just-
box supported the weight of a garage
I have
door.
no
It
clue
was
It
stuck
how
can
that
if you put
happened.
it-
It was
if you
no,
put
no,
it
no. None of the
correctly.
move. It was stuck there from the beginning.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it was
like
he forgot about it.
He had his internal thoughts. He was like, "How did I mess up my perfect life with my perfect family? I endangered them. How did I do this?" And he like
Some
in his
stupid
head, he was
pizza
like
bu-
having
I
that
don't-
internal conflict.
I don't think he was thinking about that.
No,
I mean,
no, that literally it showed that he literally was thinking, "I messed up my perfect family," and I was like, "What the hell is going on with this man? He is like brigging."
But also the main conflict, like the main antagonists of the movie, weren't really the robbers.
No.
No, they weren't.
It was all of this happened by chance.
Yeah.
It was all very like a bunch of different coincidences strung together had to make this movie happen.
It wasn't really because they stole the
He
kitty cat
wanted it.
bracelet. Yeah, he went.
He went and looked for this
Yeah.
because he wanted to do this shit again.
I mean, he went back to get that kitty cat bracelet, of course, but that wasn't the ultimate reason why everything.
It
else
was an
happened in the movie.
excuse.
It was because when he got back on that bus, those people came on, the gangsters, I guess, and then he decided he's like, okay, I'm gonna beat him up, and that kind of spiraled into the rest of the movie where
And I quote, "I'm gonna fuck you up."
yeah.
We'll get to that scene next, but you wanted to add something, Zach?
Well, I mean, it's like even from the very beginning where it showed just his boring life, it's like that all added up too. And he originally, I think he really wanted to go back to his previous life.
Oh yeah.
Because it even states like later in the movie that he said he always misses that life when he's talking with his father.
Yeah, he was glad to be back.
Yeah.
He even told his wife too. He was like, like I've missed this. Like it's just everything's so boring now that, it's just the 9 to 5. Get on the bus, go work out, go for a run, miss the trash, as it showed at the beginning of the movie. And then now he's like, this is awesome. I'm back beating people up and being an auditor, so to speak.
So I really think when his daughter, like, because he really does care about his family, but when his daughter couldn't find the kitty cat bracelet because it was in the bowl that the robbers ended up stealing all the money out of, that was the last thing that pushed him over the edge.
Yeah.
Hot mic.
But
So yeah,
Yeah,
the next scene is the bus scene where these hooligans who are drunk driving, get on the bus, harass a young teenager, which sets Hutch over the edge and is basically the "I'm gonna fuck you up" scene. Kills them in horrible ways, every single one of them.
Wasn't as bad as it wasn't as bad as
Dude,
John Wick.
he
would've.
shoves a knife, blade and handle all through a guy's leg.
Yeah.
Through a guy's leg and then takes it out and continues to stab the other guys.
At the
with it.
beginning of John Wick 3, he broke a pro basketball player's neck with a book.
The
Okay.
book At John Wick 1
But
In 3.
and 3, okay.
Yeah.
I
Parabellum.
think that's
I'm just going off what won, John Wick 1, but
But isn't
just
that
saying.
isn't
a
that
lot
the
more
main
gruesome.
difference between John Wick and Nobody? Is
What?
that John Wick is like he just blatantly kills people.
Yeah.
he kills them
But
effectively.
Nobody, I think Hutch really tries to not kill people because even on the bus scene, did he not?
he
didn't
doesn't-
kill anyone.
he did save that guy's
He
life by
did.
doing the straw
Like,
thing.
all those people died.
Well,
No,
John
no,
Wick,
no, no.
John
They were
Wick did
alive.
that
They were in the
too.
hospital.
Oh,
Oh,
were.
true.
Yeah, they were in the
And-
hospital all alive. They were okay. They
The
were just
brother-
majorly,
the brother of the
damaged.
Russian dude died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't
Well, later on,
he later died in the hospital.
later
But he
on.
didn't mean to kill him on the
technically.
bus. He, like quote, he just wanted to kick the shit out of them,
Yeah.
which he did. And I feel like he didn't want to kill him.
Yeah.
He did break his neck, and then he did the scene where he cuts
The
his neck
tracheometry.
Yeah.
Tracheometry. Yeah.
Trachea.
Tricky.
Yeah,
I'm
trachea. So, like, he wanted to subdue
Mariah
them.
Carey.
Yeah.
Obviously, his goal was to subdue them and not let the girl get harmed in any way. But he couldn't do that effectively. Comparing that to John Wick, that fight would have been over in, like, 2
seconds.
minutes. Very, very, very quickly. And he would have gone out with a lot less scratches than Hutch did. And that's because, because he's been out of the game for so long. He's not graceful in his actions. He's not super effective. He's very, like...
It's super effective.
No, he's very all over the place. He's like getting like hits taken in the back by the guy behind him. He's getting thrown into like poles and shit that are on the bus. John Wick, that would have never happened with John Wick.
Mm-mm.
But that's what happens with Nobody, and it makes sense. Like just understanding what his character is like and everything. So that's another difference between those two movies. that I'd like to make, I guess.
It definitely adds to the realism.
Yeah, it does.
The fact that not only did he kick their ass, but the group of guys kicked his ass very badly as well.
That's another reason that I liked Nobody so much, is because it showed that Hutch was vulnerable. And, you know, you see John Wick, you think, oh, it's the invincible man who can kill anybody. But Hutch, it's like, I was genuinely worried. I was like, oh, my God, is he going to get fucked up?
There's humanity there that you can cling on to and relate to. You know?
But also, John Wick doesn't have much to fight for except for himself, right?
Yeah.
Like, at that point, where Hutch has a family, where Hutch has this other life. He has his dad, he has everything else.
So it's like a man with nothing to lose versus a man who has a lot to lose, basically.
Yeah.
Pops is my favorite. Pops is badass.
Who's everyone's
like,
favorite?
He has probably, like, what, 5 minutes of screen time?
No.
10
Yeah,
minutes?
What?
At least 15.
He has like 20.
We see him, like, 2 times when he goes to, like, when Hutch goes to his dad's house. Then there's
The
that
retirement
scene later
home.
on where 2 people come to his house and...
It's like just this fragile old man.
Yeah. It was very funny to see. When
Oh
it
yeah,
played
that was
out.
awesome.
And then we see them at the final fight, and that's about it.
Okay,
Is it too late to say spoilers?
It's way too
well,
late.
we're talking about the
This is
movie,
It's a
so
joke.
obviously
It's a
Spoilers.
joke. It's a
Spoilers.
joke, okay?
I don't know. I think
Just
the
kidding.
only like major spoilers would probably be at the end of this. I feel like everything else has been kind of shown already in trailers. Even the bus fight scene was on the
It was?
trailer. So yeah.
I don't watch trailers. That's why I don't watch trailers.
So I think, I mean, until we get to the end, I feel like ultimately that'll be like spoiler territory. But I mean, I guess any of this, it doesn't matter what you say at this point.
Yeah.
So, I can't remember what was next. There was the
The whole mob thing was just kind of a blur to me because, like, I don't know. I think it was just like a transition to the final scene, which I kind of want to talk about the 3, like the family, like the dad and the sons.
We'll get there, but let's try to.
Real quick though, on as far as the Russian mob, I guess, right? So the Russian mob in the, again, not trying to compare the two, but with John Wick, right? They're very like, they're Russian, right? They're just like these people who are just on top, and they're very bland, I feel like. And then in this one, like, they clearly showed their humanity. Like, even at the beginning, it shows him doing karaoke and stuff, like very bad karaoke, and like they still applaud for him, right? So it's kind of like the sign of like, where they're almost like forced to applaud otherwise.
That respect.
I don't know if even respect,
Yeah,
maybe even out of just fear.
yeah.
But like, you also
Well,
work
fear
for the
is
guy.
respect, in my opinion. But,
Well, I
And
feel like
to
there
a
should be-
certain level.
Yeah. And so clearly, like, these people are still very interesting. They are human. They are people. And both parties, before we get to the end, I guess, both parties are given, like, a way out. Like, several times. Like, at any point, they could just, like, stop. And they keep going. And so I feel like that's also, like, a good humanity aspect to this movie.
yeah.
So, are we kind of on the part where he has, he kind of burns down his whole, like...
Not yet, but...
No, I
still
guess
got-
that's
I mean,
where we're
were
going.
you gonna
Alright,
say
so the
something
house
before
scene?
that?
Talk about how the Russian boss just takes a wine glass and just proceeds to cut up the
Oh yeah,
face
he
of the guy that
murked
just
that dude.
looked at him the wrong way. He was like, "Do you know who that guy was?"
He didn't even look at him.
That was a
he just did it
3%.
to prove a point.
That was a 3% stockholder in your company. And
It
they're all
wasn't.
like-
It wasn't the company. It was the Russian mob's
Yeah, it was the Russian mobs.
retirement fund. Is that what they
The
call it?
401k
The
for the
Obshack.
Russian mob, yeah.
Yeah.
The Obshack.
And it's like his value now goes to us. So like everyone's like, hey,
Sweet.
3%.
all 3%. Yeah, it's probably,
That's
it's
a
still probably
lot. That's a lot when
Yeah.
you're talking about
Yeah.
money
It wasn't
and
3%,
shareholding and
he was
shit.
the 3rd largest stockholder.
No, I
No,
thought
it
they
was
said it was
3%.
he was a
It was
3%.
3%. Yeah.
Largest stockholder.
All right, Nick. Okay.
Our
What?
editor.
Someone in the
I
someone
rented
in
it
the
on
audience check
YouTube
us.
and it
Like,
has subtitles. I'm gonna look.
So, anyways, can we talk about that the whole part where he burns down his whole, that whole 401k part?
yeah.
No, that's way later. I mean,
Is
if
it?
you wanna,
Well,
yeah,
that
if
is
you
way
want to
later,
jump
yeah.
to
Do you want
that,
to keep going through the movie and then we'll get to it?
Let's, yeah,
I
let's
mean,
go- let's
sure,
keep
go
going-
ahead.
let's
What
keep
do you
going through
have?
the movie.
What do you have in mind next?
So next is the house scene. Oh no. So it was the Russian mob guy goes to the hospital to see his brother dying on his deathbed.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing we missed. The whole like straw in the guy's neck because he broke his
We
trachea,
did
but-
talk about
Well,
that.
we
Yeah.
did. That was
Yeah.
the whole tracheometry
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
that was it.
And he beats the other guys up with a chair. trying to like get information about who did this to them. He
Just
didn't
threw
believe
a
that it
chair at
was
his
just-
face, even
it
though he was
just
hurt
one guy.
already.
Yeah. So it was that scene, and then the scene I wanted to talk about was the house scene, because that's another scene that really relates to the first John Wick movie, where people go to John Wick's house. You know, John Wick kills him very quickly, and
I'm just saying.
here it's like it's a very messy brawl. You know, I don't know if you guys wanted to add anything about this.
No, I like that scene. It was
liked
pretty
it
cool.
too.
And even how it showed like later, like, you know, when he's talking to him like face to face, he's like, you came to me in my house, to my family. And like that's just like, even in John Wick, that's the unspoken rule. You don't do that. You don't, like, all business is really conducted outside of the home. But they went into his home fully knowing that his family was there, and you know, they tried to take him then and there. And obviously they didn't, you know, he had like a whole bunker door downstairs. He like pressed a button, the whole like, you know, the whole thing was shit like slid
Don't
closed.
call
And, yeah, it was like a, yeah.
But it's like clearly after what, again, we kind of decided like it was like 20 years ish, right? Little less than, to like still have all this stuff prepared and just in case.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready to let it go.
Yeah, it shows that you never truly get out of it, I feel
Well,
like.
yeah, well, I wouldn't say that he'd let go, but just the fact that like, you know, you got to be on the safe side where you don't know what's gonna happen. Where it's, I mean, obviously we all know that he wanted to go back into this life and he always wanted to. It's like holding on to like, you know, old
It's
clothes
like
or
a
whatever.
it's like a
but,
what
like,
if situation, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what if this happens? I'll be ready.
But I don't know. It just kind of shows.
I feel like he always saw it coming. He knew that it wasn't gonna last forever.
I mean, maybe he could have just been like paranoid though. You know, like I mean,
That's
like,
also true. But do you think he would?
to a degree, he caused this.
Yeah, I was about to
Yes.
say, he wanted it to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why he had all that shit. He wanted it.
Like, he didn't hesitate to just burn his whole house down after he killed everybody.
And
Like almost self-prophesizing.
yeah, I feel like that's another big difference. John Wick really didn't want to be in it anymore. Like, he genuinely wanted to be done with it.
Even when his wife died, he was like, "I'm done. Like,
Like,
this is
he
over."
buried his shit under concrete and everything.
Yeah.
You saw him have to dig up his past life in every sense of the word. But what Hutch, he was like, yeah, I'll do this again.
I'm ready to
Really
get back
wanted
into
be
it.
in the
Yeah.
game.
He
But
wanted it.
Before that, I think he also wanted to be out of it too, because that's the whole reason why he had a family in the first place, is he wanted out of the what?
Well,
No,
we found out why he wanted out of it because of that
and we
one
find
guy
out
that he
'cause
spared.
He was
when
jealous.
talking to the dead man
Yeah.
in his basement.
Jealousy makes people do
He was
crazy
like,
things.
I wanted
Finally
to
listens to-
replicate it,
yeah.
but it didn't really match up to his
he
expectations.
overcorrected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like
I really
also,
like that
like he
scene,
just
too.
had a boring life. Where,
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's
He-
as far as
he-
what he perceived to be as a boring life, and so
It
he
is
just
a
didn't want
boring life.
anymore.
That's
He
what
was like,
that's
this
what
is-
was shown to
It
us.
was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was.
It seemed
It was,
like
it was
this.
a normal life.
It seemed like he was doing the same thing every single day, and that there was no
He was.
deviation from it.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like, the majority of people.
Right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, like, so it's to a degree, like, he's doing what a lot of us do all the time and just didn't want to do it. He's tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Personally, I could never live like that, but that's just me.
He had a midlife crisis by killing people.
Well, I mean,
He had a midlife crisis over a kitty cat bracelet.
So you know how when he gets captured and taken away in the car, and you know that epic scene where
Yeah.
he pretty much just folds that guy down in the seat.
he folded him.
I
He
don't think
did.
that was an epic part. I think it was just like making the car crash and shit.
Yeah, that was so funny though. But it cuts to him like pulling like the seat lever, and then like it shows the inside of the car. It's just the dude just like he just face plants
Yeah.
down. As
He lawn
folds.
chairs
Like,
him.
he like
He does. And then proceeds to fill up the car with the fire extinguisher, and you know it flips because it hits a road sign.
Yeah.
Which, that
Light
doesn't-
pole.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
was
was it a
talking
light
about
pole?
the,
Yeah,
I thought
it
like
was a
stop sign.
stoplight pole.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
hit
okay.
that.
Yeah, but yeah, the car flipped, and then you know all that
I'm not trying
happens.
to
He
be a
crawls
dick.
out of it.
I'm not being a
talking
dick.
with the black Russian guy.
He
Yeah.
tried. He
Almost
tried
attempting
telling
to
him
do
his
an
story.
exposition dump, but
That's-
it doesn't work because he dies.
That's the thing that I want to talk about. Is it's so funny because he does this multiple times in the
Yeah.
movie where
He
he's
just-
like
He's
just
monologuing.
Yeah, he's
He
just
never
kind of
gets a
talking
chance
to the
to.
guy. He's talking to a guy who's just pretty much like on the verge of death. He's just like, yeah, this is how I got here, and it's my current situation, and you know, I'm the auditor. I used to go and just do the dirty work the
But-
government didn't want, but
I guess that's
um,
convenient for him. Trying to tell the truth about what he used to do
I feel like that's
He's
just his
only doing-
character.
he's
Well,
only doing
yeah,
it
he
to
was
people
just
who are
trying to be
about
so
die,
casual about
so
it.
they won't be able to like explain who he is to other people.
They're dying. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
they're
dying.
dying. He just wanted
So
to
he
like
won't-
have a
He's
conversation
still gonna be like
that was
this
real.
in the shadows guy.
I don't
no
think
one
that's
knows
why he
about.
did that.
No, I don't
think
think
he was
that's
just
why.
talking to him because that's just who his character
that's
is.
That's
He's
his
just
only
like
time that he can like have an outlet.
Yeah, well,
Right.
that's the only time he actually
He can't
could be
just
like,
go to-
yeah, this
he
is what I
can't-
do.
Yeah,
and
he can
then,
talk to
go
his
a
brother.
therapist
Yeah.
and just vent about his
well,
past
he
life.
could talk to his brother about it. Cause his
Oh
brother's
yeah, by
brother.
the way, he has
but
a
his brother's
brother.
in hiding.
Or
He had
his
a
dad.
brother that he talked to through
Yeah,
this
or his
old like
dad,
radio
too.
station thing.
Yeah.
And no one was stopping like him from talking to like his kid or like his or any like possible friends that he could have made, right? Like
Yeah.
it wasn't until he got back into this, which now became like the issue of like now having to talk about it. But I do think that let's say with John Wick, it's very serious, right? It's very just like shoot, kill, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
on a mission, and this has a lot of comedic moments.
It does.
Yes,
Like that,
that's another
like
thing that I
it
love.
shows, that he has character, that he is a person, and even again with the scene where he like the one guy was like, I like respect your like thank you for your service, and then lock the 20 locks, and you're like this is a very comedic moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
This is a comedic moment.
it never fell flat either. Right?
No, it
like,
didn't.
Because sometimes it's like cringy, or you're like, oh, why are you doing this, or it feels like off, and I feel like it did it very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very witty and
They
humorous.
portrayed the main character as awkward, kind of. You
The
know? He had, like,
one-liners were
yeah,
great.
It
but
was
it was
so
funny. It was
yeah.
like it was a really funny awkward.
Yeah.
And then even when he gets
He
back,
clearly
into the
was
house,
a dad.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And when he got back into the house after he, got his family out and everything, and he cleaned up everything, put those, I think it was like 4 people on the couch. One of them's still like barely alive, and he's just like sitting there, drinking some whiskey or whatever it was, just talking to him like, yeah, that's how I got into this life, and and then I think that's where he talks about the story of how he spared that one dude's life.
He had
And
mercy.
that's why he's in the situation he's in now, is because
And where he
got
said he
jealous.
overcorrected.
Yeah, and he's just, as he's telling the story, the guy just kind of like dies on him. He's like,
He looks
oh,
over, he's dead, and he's like, well, that's
Oh,
okay.
all right, well, you were getting burned anyways. I
Okay,
guess.
but how cool was it that he lit the entire house on fire by the record player? That was
I didn't
that was
understand
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah. He also mentioned that his
he,
basement
like-
could double like the
Yeah, it
heat.
withstood double
Yeah.
1400 degrees.
Oh my
So their
God,
bones would've
how the
burned
hell did
long
he
before
do
the house
that?
did.
Because it's a panic room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what'd you
Okay.
say, Nick?
Oh, nothing.
No, you said
He
something.
mentioned that the fire was meant to
Yeah, it
burn
was-
the bones, so no
Yeah.
bodies would be found.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Fire.
bodies
You
would
can't-
burned long before the house did.
But
Yeah.
at that point, the people were dead when he was talking to him.
And then he stole his neighbor's fucking car. That was funny.
pretty cool. He's about to
You're
walk
the
out
16
to.
about
I
to
think he
find the
took
fuck
the
out.
keys to one of the guys'
Yeah.
cars, but then he was like, I'm taking
And
the.
they just fucking punched it. That's
I'm
what I
taking
was
the
talking about with
Challenger.
the one-liners. He was like 0 to 60, and I'm about to fucking find out.
Yeah,
like
pretty
that
much,
was
yeah.
good.
That was pretty good.
And then right after that is the whole bank scene.
Yes, where he
burns out.
goes-
Jack's favorite scene.
Oh yeah, because it's just like a big like, you know what? You come to my house, you terrorize my family and try and take me at my house. Could have been anywhere else, but you come to my house and do that. I'm coming and I'm burning your crap. Like he went over to the where even was it? It was like some big bank or something like that. Wherever
Yeah.
it was, he
Yeah.
could've just went in guns a blazing, burnt down everything, then went and threatened. What is the main bad guy's name again?
Who
you guys
knows?
What was
Vigo,
his
Vigo
name?
1.5.
Vigo 1.5.
You're the editor. Can you look it up?
No.
No,
Why
don't look it
not?
up. It's more interesting if we just guess.
Main
Just
Russian
make no-
mobster man.
Yeah, Russian mobster guy. Zach's got the idea.
Get close
Yes.
to the mic.
I think this
Like
is the
this,
scene
Jack.
because it was flawlessly executed on his part because
Mhm.
he just goes in nonchalantly walking through the bank,
Oh yeah, just
shooting everybody
gunning
in
down
sight.
everybody.
You know, not a scratch on him, burns the whole bank down.
Yeah.
Right,
We
flawlessly
kind
executed.
of miss an important scene where he goes and buys the business.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Only
Yeah,
to,
he goes and buys
yeah,
that before.
only to make it into like a whole shootout kind
Yeah,
of.
it was
Just to booby trap it.
What exactly was the business? Some kind of.
It was a foundry or
I
something.
think it was a metallurgy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, so he purposely buys it and shuts it down.
It's
saying-
Julian, by the way.
Julian?
Yeah.
Julian?
Y-U-L-I-N.
Yeah.
So like Yosef, but Julian.
Not even. Because one
Why
spelled
can't
with
they
a
just give them
J.
the name of like Nick or something?
Because they're Russian.
Because they're Russian.
Nick.
Isn't there Russian
Nick
Nicks?
the Russian
Yeah, that's
mobster.
probably
It's-
their Russian.
It'd
Nick.
be
It's
so, it'd be so
Julian with a
charming and
Y.
Julian that he wouldn't
Julian
fit
with
the
a
back
Go,
Y.
end.
even
Yeah.
that would have been easy to pronounce, but Julian and Vigo
It's
and
just Julian with a Y.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
Why
Julian
didn't they just
with a
name
Y.
him Rezanov?
Sorry, they have cool names, Jack.
So anyway, the bank scene. This is kind of the scene where Hutch kind of just sheds off the rust, and like he's actually back in the swing of things, you know, like landing every single punch, not taking any flack at all, basically killing everybody in the bank, and he came out with no scratches, basically. So it was very different from like the bus scene and the house scene, where he's like taking he's taking a beating. Now he's not so much taking a beating, because he's like, you know, he's got his flow back.
yeah.
You know? So that's why I like that scene.
It was really cool. And then immediately after, he goes to the nightclub, and he's the one guy just kind of sitting there. I don't know, you know, who knows how he got in there.
He's just showing off how cocky he is.
Yeah, it's awesome.
He's showing off his ability.
He's sitting there and he's just eating some food and watching the crazy guy up there.
And I will say,
sing.
I feel like he is more ballsy than John Wick in some
Oh,
ways.
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Because to sit there and, you know, he went, like, John Wick would stick to the shadows and everything because he knew what he was up against. And Hutch just didn't care. He was like,
broad daylight.
He sat there
good
with
karaoke.
Dude, he sat there with a bomb and waiting for Julian
Yeah.
to come up to him,
And he
so
was
he could be
totally-
like,
Well, that's the
"Hi,
thing.
have the bomb."
That's the thing. I sat there and I was like, okay, how is he gonna get out of this situation? There's like 50 million armed guards around him, and then
That's
know.
the thing. He was totally prepared not to get out of that situation. Like he was
Well,
ready
no,
to
he was
just.
Well,
no,
no,
he
because-
no, he was prepared to get
Yeah.
out of that situation. That's what he
Because
brought. That's why
if they
he
would have
brought
shot him, then they
That
all
would have been it.
died.
That would have been the end of the movie.
Because you go limp and you.
Like he was no, but seriously, he was ready to just like blow everybody up there and just do it for his family. And that's it.
I did feel that way too, but I knew that he wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
Number one, because he's
Well,
the main
yeah,
character.
because
The guy
movie
didn't
has
want
to
to
keep going
die
on,
as
duh,
well.
Yeah,
I mean, he
but
didn't
he's-
want to, but I mean,
yeah.
he was fully prepared.
You
Yeah.
think so?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he was prepared.
I think he was ready.
I
to,
think
like,
he was.
He was ready to die if he had to, but he knew he was.
He knew he wasn't gonna.
Yeah, he didn't.
That's
think
why
he
he
was.
went in there.
But I feel like you could tell that like he kind of wanted to. He
I mean,
kind
maybe it
of.
was
He
hooked
kind of
up
wanted
to
to
the
be done with
He
it.
even said he was like, "There's a part of me, a dormant part of me that wants to see this all play out."
Well, I mean,
And there's a
technically-
part of me
That's
that
why
just
when
wants
he
to end
left
it right
there,
here.
after offering Julian a chance out, he crossed his fingers in the car, and that's why he did it. He said that
He
was
wanted
really,
him to take
yeah,
the-
that
He
was
wanted to
really
come out, he's
funny.
like, yes.
But at the same time, it was really deep because he was sitting there and you know his fingers were crossed, and at the beginning you're like, oh well, he wants Julian to get out. He's a good guy, this and that. But then you see him go yes when he sees Julian coming out with all of his guys, and you're like, oh shit, that's why I keep saying
That was
he
funny.
wanted this.
Yeah.
He wants to kill these people.
But it's
he
also-
wants to feed that dark side.
It's
of
also
him.
Give me
funny.
A reason, bro. Fuck
That part
around
made
with
me
that.
laugh.
It's also funny how, when they're in there sitting there and he's negotiating, he's like, look, like, we could drop this all right now, or you could take your losses and you could take your losses and drop this right now, or you can come after me and try and like kill me and finish this. And he's like, take my losses.
Or
And
he
then
said rebuild.
Everything-
Yeah,
Yeah,
your losses and
rebuild.
rebuild.
Throws
like
the
they
burnt
burned
dollar, the burnt like stack of hundreds on the desk. He's like, yeah, I burned it all. So
It's like
Yeah, he was so
everything you
nonchalant
have-
about it.
No, everything you had,
Mhm.
is gone.
yeah,
Like-
that was funny.
Which
want
he was
Taco
also
Bell now.
saying. Hutch was also saying like they both lost something, so they were both at like the bottom. So he did give him a way out.
I don't know if they were both at the bottom because he still has his family and everything. You know what I mean?
he didn't really lose.
Yeah,
a lot.
he didn't lose
He was
anything.
talking about how
He lost his house though.
he was talking like he did lose his family, because
Yeah.
I feel like he
Yeah,
thought he did.
he didn't know at that point. That's true.
Yeah, because he didn't think. Well, I don't know if he thought his wife would take him back, but he just knew he did not have him in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So they were both technically at the bottom. That was just his words, not mine.
I agree.
So
Listen,
the next scene, my favorite scene was at the warehouse.
Their warehouse? Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
The trio of the dad, the brother, and the
It
oh yeah,
was
Pops showed up.
Amazing.
it's for some weird reason it made me think that they are all part of like the auditor or something.
Yeah,
they like
they
all
were
work
all
together.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a family
his
duo,
dad-
like a
his-
family.
their dad was like, yeah, and that's also something that
bro.
wasn't like mentioned, but was shown in context.
Yeah,
like
but-
Marcus, not Marcus.
The dad.
Marcus.
I'm thinking of John Wick. God, fuck.
The brother, you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
Henry.
very
Henry,
similar.
that's his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Well, that's what I initially thought. And Marcus, fuck. Henry
Henry.
came out, at the warehouse. He was shooting with the sniper. That's Marcus.
Marcus,
that's
yeah.
his Marcus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Only
But
this movie
like
doesn't
the
die.
thing is, like, was the dad
Spoiler.
like in it before, and then he got his sons in, or were they all recruited? That's what I was thinking.
Well,
I
that
was
was
like,
was in it
is it like
before.
the
Who do you
same
think
thing?
trained them? Because their dad is obviously a badass.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we
well,
missed the
his-
part at the
Thought of
retirement
everything.
home. They tried to
Oh,
come
yeah.
after Pops, and Pops just grabs the fucking gun. That's so cool. He put his fucking pinky between the striking pin and the hammer, so he couldn't fire it.
Mm-hmm.
He just fucking yanked the shit. What?
I don't say anything. 'cause
Tell it. Say it. I looked at you to say tell me right,
I didn't-
and you didn't.
I didn't like the guns in the movie.
Why not?
'Cause
Oh,
they-
okay.
Gun guy over here.
No,
The-
I want to hear it. I wanna hear it.
realistic enough. I didn't like it.
I want to hear it. Which
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
He's speechless because she already said what
It's
he's
because
gonna say.
I'm right.
No, what were you?
Never mind.
What what were you gonna say?
No, go
That's what it
ahead.
was.
Go ahead. I'll make fun of you
Our
afterwards.
valued editor,
You hurt
ladies and
his
gentlemen.
feelings.
You can go get Jacob Varga if you want. You could edit for you.
Oh my God.
Drama.
What were you saying?
That's
Dude,
fine.
don't get Keemstar on this.
Why don't you like the guns?
Keemstar.
What is up, Drama Alert
No, because if I'm
Nation?
getting
And
Keemstar on
Media
this,
Mix
you'll
is
be
having
gone.
drama.
They were not loud enough.
They're not loud.
It's the same issue in John Wick. They're just.
I don't know. I liked how they did.
There's
the
no
guns in John
impact.
Wick.
It's a
You should've
movie.
It's
Like
like
a lot of movies though, and a lot of video games. Guns just aren't very loud with suppressors.
no, they're not punchy.
Yeah.
I want punchy. I want the dude's skull to like be split in half from the gun. That's what I want.
Well, that's what happened with Pops in the retirement home. He took a fucking double barrel to the dudes.
I wanted to see his legs get blown off from his torso. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't
Well, I
see
mean,
it.
that's what happens when you fire a double barrel point blank. To be
I mean,
fair,
To be fair, it was still pretty gory.
it was.
Like even with the shotgun scene, he blew the guy's like innards out of
Yeah.
his stomach and
The-
kept him there like hand over his mouth.
First guy he hit just hit the fucking wall. That
Yeah,
dude
yeah,
was
that
done.
guy was out of the game. The other guy had to.
The second
sit
guy
there
shot in
for-
like the side of the stomach or
Yeah,
something.
because
that dude
because he
sat
hit
there.
he hit the shotgun, so it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the nursing home worker came in. He was like running. He was like, "Oh, something's wrong." And then he
Don't
was like,
turn that shit down.
Yeah, he saw the TV on. He was like, "Oh, he's fine. It's just a loud TV. Just turn that off."
He
And
didn't
then there's
notice,
just a
like-
guy. He has like he's like holding his like hand over the guy's mouth. The grandpa.
As he's
Here's what didn't
slowly
make sense.
dying.
Yeah,
Here's
and he
what
was like,
makes sense.
"Sorry, I'll turn it down."
He shot at the guys with the TV relatively behind them. So wouldn't there be like blood not only all over the walls but also all over the TV?
Well, you also have to remember that the guy was asleep. It makes sense because the guy was asleep, and he ran to the room. You know, he's in a panic. He just woke up.
so his
You're not
vision
gonna
was
notice
blurry.
everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
also have to realize beyond that, this is a movie.
Yeah, it was a movie.
This is a movie.
Yeah, that's what it is.
To be fair, the lights were off. It was only
Yes,
the TV
it was
on.
dark in the room too. Yeah,
It's true.
Okay, back to the final scene.
the warehouse.
The warehouse scene. He booby traps it to all hell. You know, like he rigs up some, what are those, like metal rebar?
Yes,
Where did
that
he
was my
smell
favorite
people?
part. Was
Where
the
did he-
fucking
where
rebar
did he get
cannon.
these
Cringed
things
at
from?
that
The
part.
rebar?
Where all of it?
Because
It was
it was a
in-
metal
warehouse.
factory.
It was in the
yeah,
warehouse.
He modified everything.
Well, it showed that he had like grenades and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but
so
that's what I'm like.
he was able to get the gunpowder.
just
from
had
the
it in his
Yeah,
grenades.
stash.
he
Yeah,
probably
like-
had empty grenade shells.
Mm-hmm.
He
Not
just had a
empty, but-
stash
I mean,
of
he
made
weapons,
his
you know,
own-
ready
Is
to
it-
go.
Is
Well,
it really that far fetched though?
I mean,
For, like,
it is a
his
movie.
life?
What was the fact that like he doesn't really have his stuff anymore, right? And so at this point, you're like, if there was like some sort of scene to show like in John Wick where he's like paying the guy like, hey, make me a suit, can I take these guns, right? But there
Well-
wasn't a scene.
Well,
like
but,
no,
also
wait,
you have to
before
remember
he-
that he was carrying the trash bag out of his basement after he burned the house.
Yeah, no,
That's
he
fair.
had a bag. He dumped
Yeah.
everything out, and before he burned the house, he had like a
The trash
whole
bag.
yeah, he had a
It
whole
just-
bag of things.
it just didn't look like a the amount.
Oh, it didn't
that
look like he had
used was like a lot more than what felt like in the trash.
Plus,
Maybe
ow.
the dad and brother brought some
in
things
the
with them.
in the montage. Well, no, because
Plus,
he did that. But in the montage, he was making his own bullets and everything too.
Yeah.
So
Was he? I thought he was sawing off the bullets to get the gunpowder to make the little contraptions.
Yeah,
that he was
that too.
using.
He was making his own bullets and his
Own little bombs.
yeah.
Okay, so what
The
gets me though?
IDs.
What gets me though is how did the dad and the brother, like when they were already in the warehouse before he got there, how did they not step on any of the booby traps that he set up?
Because
Did he
he
contact-
bought the
It's a
business
movie.
and he also told Henry
point.
that he has a plan.
Yeah, he probably told them.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no,
hey,
because
this
they
is the
showed up.
layout.
No, they showed up. He didn't like. Remember when the brother's name's Henry, right?
Yeah.
Remember when they were talking to him on the radio? He's like,
I
"Hey,
am
don't
not
ma-
gonna save your white
yeah,
ass.
don't make me come down there and save your ass or whatever." And then he like just kind of like hung up on him, closed the stereo or whatever it was.
But again, he
It
said he
wasn't-
has a plan. They've obviously worked together before. They're
Well,
brothers.
what I'm saying is, it was his plan.
In their
It
movie.
wasn't part of the original plan for the dad and the brother to come down and help out. At least on that just didn't appear to me. So
No,
it seemed like to me they just kind of like appeared. And even like he was like, "Oh, thanks for coming." Like he was surprised that they came.
Yeah, he
Or well,
was
maybe he
surprised.
called them and didn't expect them to come. I don't know. It
I-
could have been anything.
Probably called
he
them and was
was-
like, don't forget about the booby traps on the staircase and like the metal rebars at the front entrance and
It was mainly just the staircase because everything else he had to set himself.
Yeah.
But the staircase one is really like even when the brother comes down the stairs and you see him like shooting them with a sniper, and then he runs back upstairs, and then they run up the stairs and they step on the booby trap. Like so, he obviously, hopefully, he knew that there was a booby trap there.
It was like adult Home Alone.
yeah.
But they had like telekinesis to where they could tell each other, "Hey, there's a booby trap here. Don't step on
I
that."
mean, he does have as much
I know
training as
you're
somebody.
prone to plot holes
To be
as well.
fair.
What is there anything that you didn't like other than the guns or anything?
Bring the microphone closer.
I'll think about it. Keep talking.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, that was a really good comparison, Xavier. Adult Home Alone.
A second time.
My ear.
Fucking airball.
Well, again, I mean, like, so John Wick was very like, like a dance almost, right? Like, and then this one just felt like a mosh pit. Like, it just felt like,
Yeah.
there was no grace to it. It was
Yeah.
just,
It was a shit show.
yeah, but it was enjoyable.
It was an
And-
enjoyable shit show.
We love a good shit show.
You can't forget about the clat though that the Henry got.
no.
The sick clat.
Honestly, what was cooler than the collat was where he. Okay, I know Schneider didn't like this scene a lot. Where he unscrews the silencer and the sniper rifle in the guy's mouth. Butts the guy with the sniper rifle, like turns it around backwards, shoots the guy with the sniper rifle. The recoil kicks the other guy in the face. That was so cool.
That was
the
very
coolest
cool.
scene, in my opinion.
That was very
all that
creative.
went through my head when I saw him shoot 3 people in a row. I was like, "Oh, baby, a triple!"
Yeah, I said it out loud in theater. I was like, collateral.
It was so cool because I even saw it before it happened too. Like the 3 guys were like lining up, and then you could see the shot where like Henry was in it, and then the 3 guys, and they're like running up, and they stood up, then he pulled up the sniper. I was like, it's gonna be a collat. And then he shoots, and it was a collat, and I was like, this is epic. I like this.
Epic.
All right.
My 3 favorite traps were definitely the stairs with like the guy stepping on the pin and that like triggered it,
Yeah.
and then the hydraulic press with the grenade on.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
that
cool.
was good.
That was pretty cool.
You
I
ever
love
watched?
that.
You guys ever watch those videos of like the hydraulic press versus whatever inanimate
Oh, yeah.
object?
Pretty sure they did a
It's-
grenade.
I watched those videos for such a long time on YouTube.
I bet
That
you
was, like, a
did.
very homage.
What?
I felt like
What value does that add to this movie?
nothing. It doesn't have to add value. This is fun.
He just wanted to add his
just
fucking
interest.
with you. I'm just fucking with you.
I can't remember any good ones. Like it was a Coca-Cola can versus like the press machine.
What was your 3rd favorite trap, Zach?
3,000-degree knife.
3,000 degree.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, versus like
That's what started it.
the 3,000-degree knife versus the watermelon and stuff, where they just kind of like sit there and.
I meant
Anyways.
your 3rd favorite trap.
Yeah, what?
My 3rd
What?
definitely with the rebarb.
The
rebar.
The rebarb cannon
Oh, yeah,
was
that was
so
pretty good.
fucking cool.
Real quick, I was like, did I miss something a part of the movie where they took a 3,000 degree?
Yeah, I was
That's
like, what
what
are you
I thought.
talking about?
That's for the sequel.
I was so confused. But no, just watching them get fucking ragdolled by getting impaled by like it was cool.
I don't know what it is, but there's just something satisfying about just seeing a bunch of people get murdered in different ways.
Okay,
Oh, well,
that was the dark side that we weren't all gonna
my
out.
favorite thing that he made
Yeah.
was, you know, that it was like the what's it called? It was a jar, and he put like gunpowder.
It was an IED
and
and the nails and the screws.
and
That's
then he
an
rolled
IED.
it down. That was so cool. I liked how he made that.
Improvised explosive device.
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, then we have the last scene
It's a nail
where Vigo 1.5 butts in and shoots, what is his name, Henry?
Henry in the shoulder.
Yeah, he shoots Henry in the shoulder. It's the final showdown.
Oh,
And
They're all out
the
of
way,
ammo.
the way it ended was a little underwhelming because, okay, this is how it ended. Hutch like duct tapes the claymore that he had at the bar, like at the club scene.
Yep.
Right. To like a
Riot shield.
bulletproof riot shield of sorts. And
On the
he
outside,
has
not
it-
not
he
in the
has
side
it
that
hooked
he's
up to
on.
the pin on his side.
I feel like that's
so
very
when he gets close
Very
to
important.
Vigo 1.5, he like has it in his mouth or some shit. And he goes like,
It's just
like, triggers it,
Julian.
and it blows up Vigo 1.5. Blows
Julian.
him up. Blows him. I'm not gonna call him Julian. I'm calling him Vigo 1.5 for the meme. But he
He's like
blows
Vigo
him up, and
0.5.
I was expecting
He's Vigo Mark
his
1.
upper torso to not be where his bottom torso was, but it still was there, which is kind of weird. I'm like, dude, you literally got blown up by a claymore. How are you so much intact still? Like, it was just like he looked like Two-Face.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
So he still had a full body. It's just he was very scratched up. And he just
Yeah,
died
I
from
feel like
being
there should
so
have been more
scratched up.
damage.
Yeah, I feel like he should have been missing like an arm, his head
Yeah.
at least.
Even Hutch should have had something wrong. Like
Yeah,
he
Hutch
should
should've
have
had a lot of
gotten
things
hurt.
wrong. I
Yeah.
mean,
Maybe
it's
a couple broken
bulletproof riot
bones.
shield, not a claymore-proof riot shield.
Oh.
To be fair, the face toward enemy side was facing towards the enemy, and not towards Hutch. But I feel like that would still fuck you up, even if you had like a.
It kind of
bulletproof
did
riot
though.
shield.
It flew him back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
around.
It would fly you
That's
back.
about it.
He was hurt,
The way
but
claymores work is that it only fires in one direction.
Yeah,
it is a big explosion though. Yeah.
It is a big explosion.
but you wouldn't let it explode on your chest, right?
Or like right next to you.
Yeah,
like,
or right next to you.
Oh yeah, I do agree that he should have been like pieces, not just like. Bleh. I
Yeah,
thought they were
not
gonna do kind of
Two-Face.
like a Breaking Bad thing, where like
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
one guy like you know he walks out and it's just like after the bomb and just like half of his face is just gone. It's
Oh
just
my
this, like,
gosh.
Do you
skull.
remember what we Do you guys remember what we gave John Wick?
Mhm.
Like what
I
we
remember
total
what I
rating?
gave
I
it.
think it was a 9.
I think I
In
gave
total, it was a 8.
It was like
It was
8.5.
8.5. It was 8.5.
total.
You remember what I gave?
Oh, you watched it?
I did watch it.
Wow.
Number one fan.
We'll get to that. I was just curious, but that's pretty much the movie wrapped up. I'd say they get a new house and.
Oh yeah, they're
family.
shopping
It's
for
also
a new
safe
house.
to assume that he's back in the life.
Yeah, because he got a
Yeah.
phone
Well,
call at the
you
end.
gotta
'cause-
fuck-
There's
we
also
completely
the-
forgot.
The like mid-credit scene too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where
Dude, we
Pops
completely
and
forgot about the barbershop
Henry are
scene.
driving somewhere.
they were in an RV and they had just a bunch of weapons in the back of the RV, and they're
Shit
just
ton
like,
of guns.
It's like
they're
war-
like, why didn't we
war dogs,
fly?
right?
We have
War
cargo
dogs.
in the back.
We can't
We
fly
can't
with this
do that.
luggage.
Why don't we just fly? Wow.
We can't bring this on the aeroplane.
But clearly they're on their way to do like something else.
Yeah,
right?
another
Oh yeah,
job.
they're fucking going.
back on the
Yeah.
auditing.
The dad's
I
happy.
guess.
Henry's happy.
Anything for you, Tad Schneider? Did you think about anything?
I like Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Oh, the actors were great.
Well, because
Yeah.
I feel like the whole time you're kind of like thinking he's gonna die. You know, he's gonna be another catalyst, another thing like a casualty for like this guy to lose.
No, I knew. No, TikTok
Well-
spoiled it for me. I knew the shotgun
Great.
scene
Well,
was
some of
coming
us
up.
aren't on TikTok.
Sorry.
I'm on TikTok, I
but-
just
But
don't.
media mixes.
MediaMix is.
Follow our
The
TikTok on
media
MediaMix.
mixes.
Follow our
Shout out.
TikTok because it's
Don't follow
actually
it.
it's actually really funny.
But I don't know. I felt like the whole time, right? Like it almost felt like his daughter or someone else had to like get killed for this, right?
Yeah.
And turns out like he is a badass. Like he is also in this life. So I don't know. I just felt like he was also pretty cool. Also, you know, Back to the Future. So like,
Marty.
I feel like you've said that in a different podcast. Back to the Future.
deja vu. I don't know.
It's a good movie.
I might have
So-
deja vu.
All right, ratings.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
before we get to that,
he's
we completely forgot
the
about
doc. Yeah, he's
the
doc.
guy who called him at the end.
Oh shit!
You didn't.
I didn't even
So-
notice that. I've never
so the
watched
guy-
Back to the Future.
That called him at the end of the movie when they're at the new house.
It said unknown.
Oh yeah,
That
Like,
was
we didn't
unknown.
know
We
what the
completely
number
forgot
was.
about that guy. The
It's like-
barbershop scene. What was his name?
Oh yeah, who was
that-
that dude?
Because
Like
we
the
didn't,
British-
we didn't
British
hear,
black guy?
we didn't hear
not British.
whoever talked.
In the movie. Was he like Australian?
No, he was American.
Well, he wasn't.
I'm like,
Right.
I thought he had an
Yeah, yeah.
accent.
Okay.
Who cares who?
Okay,
what
back
he
on
was?
topic.
Anyway.
He had an accent. Okay, so
But
black guy with an accent. We completely forgot about him. He was like has all this. He's like what, an information broker,
he wasn't that
his
important.
contractor. Or something?
Yeah, he just gave him like a file on like.
I think he was just a
Julian.
guy in the FBI or whatever that
Yeah.
used to work with the main character, so he just helping him out.
Yeah.
Anyways, what was that phone call in the end though? Do you guys?
That was
No,
him.
we don't know
We
who
don't-
it was.
we don't know.
We,
It's just
we
to set
didn't
up
hear
a
a
second.
voice or anything.
I don't-
Yeah, it's to set up a sequel.
I don't personally think they should do a second one.
They don't have to.
I enjoyed this movie a lot.
I agree.
But I don't think they should do another one just because,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be kicking a dead horse, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I feel like, too, oh my God, I just had his name, but the main actor who played as Hutch, right?
Hutch. Yeah.
Well, but the actor's name.
Oh well.
Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, yeah, so he's done a lot of things, and I know I've seen him beforehand, but I especially liked him in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And he is, like, this average-looking dude. And I think that was kind of like the whole point of it, right? Is that, like, you know, if this movie took place in like the 90s, right? It would have been played by like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It would have been played by like some huge dude, like
Or like
this guy's out
Tom
of the
Cruise.
service, right? Well, no, not the 90s, but yeah. But and then so all these scenes where they're like, you know, he's non-threatening wouldn't have been the same because he
Yeah.
is this average-looking dude. He can, and Bob Odenkirk can. It feels like he can almost play anything because he is this average-looking dude, and he really shows like his ability to act. You know, because he in Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, he's very like this. I don't want to say, but like almost like wimpy, I guess ish. He's kind of like pushover, and there are times where he does stick up for himself. But this movie really shows that he can be an action star, I guess. So I'd rather like see more of him, like a bigger like
In different projects?
yeah,
More
like other things
broad?
that he can like
Yeah.
other spectrum of like acting that he can do.
It
Yeah,
really
I
showed
definitely
that he
like
could
the
be
actor choice though, because like
Yeah.
it showed how like kind of scrawny. He looks scrawny, but he still is kind of like in shape, and I think that fits really well of how like
I mean, he had-
yeah, like I've been out of the game and like not really intimidating.
Oh, and he definitely had
He
Yeah.
train for
definitely
this
had to
movie.
get in shape
Yeah.
for the movie, and it was really cool to see him play a role that he normally wouldn't play.
Yeah.
and for him to like execute it with grace, you know, like not that it was a graceful character, but he played it very well. Was what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I don't also want him to be held down like Keanu Reeves, who's
Yeah.
like in these John Wick movies has to do other projects. Where I feel like I'd rather see him do his own thing, do more like other things. I don't know. I don't
It really showed that he could be the main person.
Yeah.
In anything.
for sure.
It's true.
All right.
So, before we go into the ratings, because that's I'm saying
I think that's where we go next.
I just kind of had like a fun little question for like everybody, I guess.
Sure.
Even the audience could think about this, but like,
Yourself.
This is our number one fan right here.
I will be the first comment. And I was just thinking, because the director was the same director that did John Wick, I believe.
Yeah.
And it definitely had a lot of John Wick vibes. And I saw someone talking about what if nobody takes place in the John Wick kind of universe. And I was thinking, what if they made a John Wick versus Nobody movie?
Godzilla versus Kong
That would
V2.
be awful.
Oh,
That would be so
yeah.
bad.
We also didn't talk
would
about
be-
why it's called Nobody.
Because he is a no.
That's
No,
he
because he had to.
He got all his information redacted when he got out of the life, and that's the code name they gave him.
Yeah, but also
you
it's
see it
because
on
like
the
he had to
classified
leave,
papers.
like nobody left. Like that's why it was nobody. Nobody could be left standing.
Yeah, but the scene in the Pentagon where
Yeah.
was
Also,
looking him
everything
up.
was like blacked off.
what?
As far as answering Zach's question,
yeah. Let's answer.
That would be awful.
I feel like
fan
it's.
service.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know how they'd even clash the, I guess, vibes with it, right? Because like the tone.
Well, they don't even have to fight
'Cause-
each other. What if they just paired up?
Well, again, the tone though, because he's like witty, like I would say witty, but he's more comedic, right? He's very like how's it going, bud? To some of these guys, where like John Wick is very silent. He is a kind of person who's on his own, except for Marcus. But Marcus didn't ask if he needed help, right? Like he just did it. And so
saying,
if there's like a buddy cop kind of situation, it wouldn't work.
because the tones would clash and whatnot.
Yeah, they're two different. They're two different completely they're completely different characters. That's what it is. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
it
I don't
wouldn't
think that's-
match
I
up.
don't think that's the reason why.
What you're saying.
I think it's just like the John Wick universe gives off this very like serious and like cold tone, as like the Nobody series kind of gives off this like more lighthearted but still kind of serious. They're different. They're basically different moods, you know.
I'll say, to the John Wick's like universe is almost like filled with assassins, and this one's clearly on the DL.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I like if it was a John Wick versus Nobody, that would be a fun movie, but I wouldn't be happy if it was canon. You know, like I wouldn't like that.
All right, I think it's time to wrap this up.
Okay, so ratings. Who wants to start? Mason, you want to start? Let me just go around the table.
You start.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
Here's the thing. I don't want to give it a better rating than John Wick because I liked John Wick more than this movie.
Makes sense.
I just can't remember what I gave John Wick in the first episode.
You gave it 8.5.
8.5?
Yeah,
because I did like this movie, and the only reason why I don't want to give it a better rating than John Wick is because it was directly inspired by the John Wick movies. Because if this movie came out first, then yeah, I would give it a higher rating. But being like a standalone movie, looking at it as a standalone movie, it gives John Wick a run for its money. So I'm just gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And I think that's a fair rating for it. It's a good movie, action's good. It's a simple story plot. The only bad things I'd really say is like literally the movie would have never happened if not for like the kitty bracelet and all these other coincidences that like string together, like him losing his Metro card, which leads to the Russians finding out like who he is and where he lives, which leads to like this whole brawl between him and the Russians. That's the whole movie. That's how it all starts. If it wasn't for this stupid kitty cat bracelet and losing his Metro card, none of it would have happened. While in John Wick, it all happened because the Russians came to him and basically took his new life away from him. So, John Wick's story is better. This one is a little lackluster. Action's good, so 8 out of 10. Zach.
Me. All right. Well, rating this movie, it's definitely like I think it lacks the originality, of course, because like we can always compare it to John Wick. But if I had to judge it just by its own movie, not like factoring any other outside movies, I feel like I want to give it like an 8.5 or a 9, honestly, because I really enjoyed this movie. Like I left being really satisfied. I think it's one of the best movies I've seen in quite a while.
Okay.
So I think I'll give it a 9.
Okay, yeah.
Being really generous,
That's
but
fair.
I liked it. It had a lot of comedy in it, but not so much that it didn't make it not a serious film. So
It's very true.
and I love the ending to it. Just like
Yeah.
where it starts off where it ends, where he's sitting in the police interrogation and he just pulls the cat out of his jacket and feeds it tuna. It starts off like that, and you're just like, what the hell? And then at the end of the movie, I was just like smiling. I was just happy that I saw that scene again. So yeah, I give it a 9. So
Nice.
on the jack.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with what they've both said. I mean, it was a great movie. I really loved the action scenes, and they had plenty of comedic moments in there as well, to where it, like in John Wick, it wasn't terribly comedic. There was very little comedic moments, like, you know, the point where the cop showed up at his house and was like, "Hey, John, what you doing?" Like that was pretty funny, but there wasn't really many moments like that. But in this movie, there was a lot of like one-liners, how he's just kind of like talking to dead people about his, you know, life before where he is now, and I just found stuff like that very funny. And then obviously all the action scenes that came with it. So I'm gonna have to give it a 9 out of 10 as well. I thought it was a great movie, and like Zach said, at the very end of the movie, I was actually very satisfied with it. I wasn't disappointed that they left something loose other than the phone call that happened that we don't really know about. But everything else was kind of all tied up together, and yeah, I really like when movies do that. So 9.5 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I like this movie. I think I liked it a little bit better than John Wick because, like, from the beginning, I kept trying to psychoanalyze like what he was thinking, and it kept giving us like, it was just like this kind of mysterious like, oh, what did he do? Like, what does he do? And stuff like that. And so I think that was really good, like, for us trying to figure out and them telling us later on in the movie. And I really like how they did that as well. And again, like all the, like what you guys said, there was a lot of great humor, and there's a bunch of other things that just made it like us laugh. And then we also like, oh, there's serious points in here as well. So I think I'm going to give it a 9.
All right.
I'm going to real quick also agree with Zach that I think it's going to be one of the better movies of the year, whether that includes or just like not includes Marvel movies that are coming out this year, DC movies. But just you guys pretty much summed it up, and I'll say I don't know. I'll give it a just for you, Nick. I'm gonna give it 4 bus fight scenes out of 1 Claymore. So go see it.
9.5 out of 10. Very funny. Always room for improvement.
Okay.
I love it. Short and
Concise.
sweet.
What about Schneider?
Schneider. We got to hear what Schneider has to say.
We give it.
You got to be very close. So.
Oh, that was way too close. I give it a 9.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, I
that?
give it a 9.
Alrighty.
It's pretty
And
good.
So the general consensus is, did you all thought it was better than John Wick?
Yes.
Yeah, but
like
they're
the
both
first one?
they're both
the
like
first one.
they both have their different like things, so you can't really compare them like very closely similar. I mean, they do have similar things, but I think they're both their own.
Okay. All right. Fair. So I don't know what that average rating is. Oh, she's got it. 8.9 out of 10.
If you wanna
So a
Switch-
9 out of 10.
if you want to switch to the camera view of all of us, we can throw it up in the middle like we always
Rounded
do.
up is a 9.
Pretty much.
All
But
right. We'll just say 9 out of 10 then. Fuck you guys.
well, yeah, thanks to everybody who's tuned in, our #1 subscriber right here. So far, I mean, somebody could come ahead of him and comment before he does.
You
That'd
guys
be
make
pretty
a
cool.
funny, witty comment that makes us giggle.
But thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure you scroll down in the comments and check out our different social medias like Instagram and TikTok. We post some really funny, especially TikTok. We haven't posted anything on Instagram yet, but TikTok we've been posting a lot, really funny stuff. And yeah, just if you enjoyed what you saw here, please subscribe. If you have anything to say in the comments, we love to read them and respond to those comments. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and
Don't run.
we'll see you in the next podcast. Peace out.